Dear diary. So look, most of you know, because I messaged you straight away, that today worked out in my favor. Obviously I was very concerned about how it was going to pan out because I guess of what Alex had passed on, that Jonesy was wanting to argue that my, wanting the IVO was unsubstantiated, and from that I took that he was going to try and contest it. And so when I guess like a mediator or a support person came to speak to me to broach if mediation is possible, I highlighted that we'd attempted to mediate and we'd had conversations in the week leading up to me going to the police, where he agreed that he needed me to stay away, and then the next night I've got a voice message inviting me back over. If I'm trucking along well, keep going, but if you're struggling, where I am, kind of thing. So I am, that's not really helping me get fucking clean. You need to cut off my supply. That's what I asked you to do. Anyway, so yeah, but and then she went to speak to him, and then she came back and said that he's accepting it without something. I can't remember all the jargon and stuff anymore. So he's accepted the terms of the IVO and no amendments. So it is as it stands. Pete never showed up. I haven't heard from Pete since 8 o'clock last night. So I don't know. I want to block him and just be like, I don't give a shit what excuse you've got. Like, I tried to reach out. I've sent that many messages. I've been there for you anytime that you've needed someone, and the one time that I needed you to be there for me, you let me down, and you didn't even give me an explanation beforehand that you weren't going to be there. So, and look, maybe he's got his own shit going on. That's fine. That's obviously the universe saying something. I know that I need to take the next step by blocking his number, but I still haven't done that because I know that he is the kind of person to text, not call. So he won't call me to apologise or answer for what happened today or last night. He would do that through text, and I guess I'm still curious to see what he would have to say if he said anything. So I've put him to mute so that I don't get notified straight away, but I guess when he eventually decides to get in touch with me, I may see that. I also acknowledge that that's not me letting go of the situation. But fuck, okay, like I'm getting through one letting go, one thing to let go of at a time or something. I don't know, let me take baby steps. Hey, baby girl. I'm relieved, but there's this just feeling in my chest that I don't know if it's like built up stress that I need to let out. I need to have a good cry. I do know that, and I haven't. I guess I was trying to sort of keep it together, because the annoying thing is then after you get out of court, then you've got to go and wait for the paperwork, and you have to fucking sit next to each other while you wait for the order. So I, pissed off for a bit and tried to come back a bit later, and got all of our paperwork and what have you. And then I thought I was gonna do a car check-in or cry in the car. I did sit in the car and have a cigarette, and that's when I messaged people to say it's all over, and it worked out for me. Had some win moments, where Donna S, who I was talking to a lot about this with on Friday night, you know, and she was the one that said, let me know how it goes. So I let her know. And I don't know, she said something, and I said, you know, the light queen as opposed to the shadow queen. The light queen defended her sovereignty with grace and restraint. Because there were times, you know, Jonesy wanted to try and argue with the magistrate that what I said was unsubstantiated. And if the magistrate wanted to explore that further, I was willing to answer any questions, but I wasn't going to respond directly to Jonesy making that comment. And I guess fortunately the magistrate didn't want to hear it either. So yeah, it was a different gentleman from who oversaw it a couple of weeks ago. So yeah. So I thought I was going to kind of have a cry in the car, which didn't happen. And then all I could think was like, fuck, I want to drink. Just want to, I want to drink. Which is good. At least that was my urge, not like, fuck, I want a cone or you know, whatever. I know sometimes I used to have stressful days at Sovereign Hill and be like, I can't wait to get home and crack open a cider or a Krabby's or something. So yeah, I guess I'm happy that my reaction was, fuck, I need a drink. But instead of having a drink, I had a Valium. Maybe that's why I can't quite cry, because that edge of like the stress has just been taken. I just feel energy in here, and controlled breathing on the way home as well, which has helped keep me centered, I would say. I don't necessarily quite feel grounded yet, and I am really heartbroken because I'm not allowed to have a relationship with Alex right now. The court highlighted that the relationship, or like Alex's involvement with both Jonesy and I, makes it really complicated, and that to protect both Jonesy and I from breaching our agreement, I can't be in contact with Alex. I need to also respect the 5-meter person rule and the 200-meter address rule. And I think that's what really hurts, because I feel unnecessarily, but I mean, I left Alex before I broke his heart 12 years ago, or 11, whatever, 12 years ago, because I didn't feel like I had a partner and I needed more from life, and he wasn't willing to step up, and so I had to leave him then. And I guess it feels like it's kind of happening all over again, which, I don't know, as I say it, and I'm like, well, it's happening again because he's not learning his lesson. I would like to be able to meet him, you know, as an adult, but I don't feel like he's running his life as an adult. I don't allow him to run his life as an adult, because I just feel so concerned for him that, you know, I want to help and I want to make sure that he's safe and that he's okay, because he's not okay. You know, he's really, really depressed, and he's got destination happiness, where he thinks that, you know, his circumstances, he acknowledges that he's not doing well, but he believes it's because of his circumstances, and it's just when this happens, when X happens and Y happens and Z happens, that's when everything will be fine, because he'll have those things, and he just doesn't hope those things in his life right now. And it's like, but you could have those things in your life right now, my sweet. You could fight for them right now. There's no reason why you have to accept what's happening. Anyway, so that really hurts. And I think I mean, I've acknowledged the times that Jonesy's been there and that it's time for that to move on. That's fine. But, yeah, I guess it's still scary and painful to feel like, yeah, I guess I'm grieving the expectations. The expectation that Alex will always be there for me, that he would listen to me. The expectation that my sister will always be there for me. The expectation of Pete to follow through on a promise. Yeah. Yeah. I tried reaching out to Bill to see if he wanted to catch up for a drink tonight, but he's busy. He also referred to me as Bud. Hey, Bud, how's it going? So I think I've been friend zoned, which is fine. But again, it just feels like, so there's another connection, another thing going. So it's all about May's sovereignty and autonomy, and I guess discovering that through solitude and a lot of inner work and blah. Really should have done this over winter. It's the right time to be doing it. I'm kind of 6 months behind. Maybe I should be in the Northern Hemisphere. It feels weird to be doing all this internal work while it's so beautiful and sunny and all you want to do is be outside and connecting. And I just want to be connected and feel connected. And I am connected, but I don't know. Right now it doesn't feel that way in my heart. But I don't know. I had a lot of time to kill today, so I did read a bit more of that Joe Dispenza book, which is about, you know, how the body works and the feedback loop between our thoughts and our feelings, and I guess ways to override that. And he did actually touch on addiction too. So I can see how it crosses over to, say, SMART goals and things like that, about reminding yourself what your goal is, why you don't want to give up, and because those, you know, temptations to use will always be there. You've got cells in your body that are used to receiving, you know, whatever, and when they don't receive it, they go into a little bit of a panic mode, and they send messages to the brain to make you panic, and they will use whatever wording they can to try and get what it needs, which is just to feel normal. And so it's up to me working with my mind to tell my body that it's okay. We don't need to panic. We're just doing things a little bit differently now. And that feels good. And I guess that's why as well it's quite hard to cry, because things don't feel like a total tragedy. I'm acknowledging that there is that feeling in my heart, which again I guess is grief, but it's so overridden by relief and optimism for next year and moving on and moving forward that it makes it hard to really feel that grief so that it can come out in a healthy way. But anyway, that's enough of a check-in. So yeah, look, I've had a Valium. I've had some frivolous casual chats with a couple of people, including Carl, who was my footy player cop, who was giving me a lot of advice. So I was letting him know that I was at court today and that it all worked out, and then we just had this bit of a fun chat. He might not be coming back to Avoca next year, which really makes me sad as well. Avoca, as a club, are wanting to sort of focus on getting players that are local or within a 30-kilometre radius, rather than relying on a carload of people from Melbourne or Geelong. just so that there are more numbers at training. Carl was great and would put in the time to do their own training, and I think if more people were dedicated to, then the club would look at running a training session down in Melbourne and down in Geelong so that the boys could have a break from having to come up. But they're a slack club, they're amateurs, so it's great that the city boys, as we called them, were willing to put the work in themselves. But yeah, a lot of them aren't coming back this year, and so I don't think Carl's even been approached. I straight up said, I'm like, well, Carl, if you're not there, I'm not gonna go back, because he said he's my big brother at the club, and that if anything happens, to go straight to him. And as some people know, I didn't have a great time at the footy ball this year because some comments were made about me, and one person wouldn't leave me alone and couldn't take a hint that I didn't want to be touched or danced with in that way. And I didn't feel like I had anyone to turn to, so I went back to my hotel room incredibly distressed and upset, and I think I took like a couple of Valium and a Seroquel, and I still wasn't settling, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to sleep, I don't know what to do, I don't want to be here, I can hear people in the next room from the ball and they're still partying, I'm not going to sleep, I'm really worked up. And I think I ended up leaving there at like 3:30 in the morning and driving to Jonesy's because they were still awake then, and smoking pot and then going home. The club handled the situation really, really well. They found out about it pretty quickly, and it was investigated, and apologies were passed on and things like that, which is great. I commend the club for their professionalism. And then of course when Carl found out, he reached out and he said to me, and that's when he said, I'm your big brother at the club, and if anything like that happens, tell me. And I'm really disappointed in X person for not leaving you alone, because that person was just about to graduate to become a cop, and Carl had been helping him mentor through that whole thing. So yeah, I'm nervous about Carl not being there next year. But maybe next year, if I'm not working on footy, then that means I have more time for Fox therapies, and I have more time to get myself into comps and training without having to take weeks off work. So I don't know. It feels like a lot of things are up in the air, and I think that's creating a bit of a sense of unease. But it's all about surrendering to the universe and letting go and letting whatever happens happen. And I do have the capability and the ability and all of whatever I can do whatever the fuck I want when I want to. So when I feel inspired to, or when I feel called to, then I will act upon it on whatever instinct or inspiration comes to me. But right now I don't feel called to reach out to Bill or to reach out to really anyone. I think this is time for me to still keep focusing inwards and on myself and on my journey, and whatever next year holds will present itself. So yeah, I will check in later probably, but for now I'm doing okay. I'm not quite completely settled. I might try to meditate. I'm actually feeling really sleepy. I think I'm worn out from all the adrenaline, from the fear that I've been carrying the past couple of days. So yeah, I'm just taking it really easy, lying around, cuddling with Sel. I am booked in to go to Body Balance at 7:30 tonight, which I think would be really, really nice. So yeah, just taking it easy, looking after May, and taking it one step at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time. All I have to do is breathe. Everything else is optional. Thanks for tuning in.